Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Samuel Wilson Bartholomew IV, named after my dad and his dad and his dad. And in keeping with tradition, of course, I haven't told my father that I would be speaking today. So, hey, Dad, how's it going? If you don't know my dad, well, just look for the reincarnation of Mr. Clean. He has the tight shirts, no hair anywhere on his body, and you can spot him from miles away. But actually, if you don't know my father, I'm genuinely surprised. You see, my father and I began doing these steak dinners at steakhouses across Nashville at the start of my senior year. And I don't think that there has been a single dinner where he hasn't run into someone that he already knew. And on top of that, as the most extroverted person I know, we never start eating until about 2 hours after we get to the actual restaurant. These steak dinners started so that we could discuss my journey during my final year at MBA. And these dinners' purpose was to answer a question. What does it mean to be a man of character in the modern world? This question is honestly hard to answer, which is why every discussion we have occurs after we've actually eaten the steak. The best way I can describe what I've learned from these conversations that I've had with my father is with a quote from the movie Gladiator, which I hope you've all seen. And these are also the words that my father says every morning when I leave for school. Strength and honor. In our family, it's good to be strong. Strong in mind, body, and spirit. For example, whenever I work out with my dad, we always compete. And every once in a while, he's able to outlift me. And then, of course, he has to stretch for 15 minutes before we actually leave so he can walk back to the car. Being a strong man, I have learned, is more than just physicality. It's also the struggle to take initiative, to pursue your passions, to treat others with respect, and to admit your weaknesses. To be honest, I've never understood why my dad wears shirts entirely too small for his body, or why he always sneezes so loud. But I do know that he is strong in the face of adversity. I think one of the best examples of his strength was my father's leadership after the death of his father, Bob. My grandfather suffered from Alzheimer's for a long time, and even though we all knew his death was coming, it was still a very difficult period of time, especially for my grandmother. My father struggled as well, but when his mother and siblings needed him, he was always there, and I know he will always be there for them. Seeing his strength during this time and watching him navigate through this period of loss has inspired me to be that same type of sibling, father, and son. I could talk more and more about how strong my father is and how much adversity he personally has faced, but I also need to mention the strength he shows as a man of honor. My father has made mistakes, like teaching 13-year-old Cooperez Nikki how to kill someone with a plastic spoon and pushing me into a sled onto a mailbox, breaking my arm. Despite his many faults, he is still the most honorable man I've ever met. Honor means doing what is right, no matter what. And my father always tries to do what is right. My father gives everything he can to those in need and always acts through kindness. Every time my friends come over, no matter what is happening or how busy he is, my dad always talks to each and every one of them. And this gesture may seem like a small act, but to me, it highlights the care he gives to every single person he meets. My grandfather used to say that relationships make the world go round. And I see my father live out this value every day. He has kept in touch with people he met in kindergarten, and journeys with me, and journeys with young men and me from all walks of life. His kindness and honor extend to me as well as he pushes me to be a man of character. Most recently, he gave me a 4-foot sword. And while it is dangerous and seemingly pointless, its purpose is to drive me to act with character, to be careful of my actions as if I carry a sword with me at all times. My dad cares about the type of man I will become because he wants the best for me. I will leave you with this. No matter how strong my dad is, and no matter how many times I'm called weak in comparison to him, he is an amazing father, and he loves me no matter how many mistakes I make. When I get home from school, he's always sad to hear that I have plans. And for a long time, I thought that he was jealous because I had friends and he didn't. And after a while, I was able to realize that his jealousy was because he wanted to be spending that time with me. And now, I'm not saying he was the coolest for that, or that he's perfect, but I've always looked up to him, and I always will. I hope I can be as good of a father to my son as my dad is to me. I couldn't have asked for a better father. I love you, Dad. Strength and honor.